don't care what you say. I call straight shenanigans out of Jaime being dragged out of the water and no one notices. Real quick, there's a $15 gift card to Amazon giveaway at the end of this video, so stay put to the end or just jump to the end, it doesn't really matter. I'll also announce the winner from last video at the end of this video. This video is brought to you by thetimetravelingdinosaur.com, who gave me these awesome earrings. Link in the video description below and also in the comment section. Okay, let's just recap the end of episode 4 really quick. Jaime does his suicide charge towards Dany, Bronn lunges at him and knocks him into the water. It then looks like Jaime sinks quite a bit. This episode, Bronn managed to drag Jaime from way down while wearing heavy-ass weighted-down armor a long ways to the other side without being seen or drowning Jaime. I know there's an article out there showing the science behind it and that Jaime could get out of the water with great effort, but I just don't think it would have been that easy. I just don't buy that Bronn dragged Jaime that distance and no one noticed. Not even Tyrion, who saw his brother go into the water. He didn't think, my brother with one hand just went into the water with heavy-ass armor. Maybe I should have some Dothraki go in after him, pull him out of the water. He'd be a valuable prisoner of war. No? Come on. And then Tyrion automatically knows that Jaime's still alive. What? God, I love Bronn telling Jaime, listen to me, cunt. That was just so beautiful. More people need to call him a cunt. Or Bronn needs to call more people a cunt. I don't know, either one. Bronn wants his reward before Jaime bites it, and with Bronn saying he's not going against 3 dragons, it seems pretty clear by the end, if he makes it, Bronn is going to go back to Tyrion and go on Team Dany. Okay, so back to the Field of Fire. I get that Tyrion should be conflicted about the barbecue, those were his people, his family's people, and Westerosi, but hey, buddy, you killed a lot of people and burned them alive with your wildfire shit. Yeah, different scenario, but come on. Don't pull that sad Lannister music BS with me. I'm not so sure if I'm behind Daenerys' speech. I'm gonna build this glorious world, this better world. But if you don't agree with me or do what I say, I'm going to burn your fucking face off. I feel like maybe you're sending mixed messages. We knew Lord Tarly was a goner this episode. He had a hard enough time with one queen. No way he was going to go with a non-Westerosi raised one that had an outside army. I mean, he hates wildlings and they're from his own darn continent. I was very sad to see Dickon go though. He seemed like a good guy. That darn honor gets you every time. How sweet was it that hard-ass Lord Tarly grabbed his son's arm to comfort him before his death? Randall is a dick, but in that moment, I felt for him. But it certainly got everyone to kneel super fast. Very effective. I would kneel too after watching someone burn alive. Though how loyal they are, I guess we'll see. Now, how awesome was it, Dany going back to Dragonstone and Drogon going up to Jon and allowing him to pet him? So dragons have a special connection with dragon riders such as Targaryens and dragon seeds, and there's something about them that dragons can sense and they bond with them in a special way. So seeing Drogon responding to Jon just was so awesome. Drogon got close enough to Jon and smelled his mommy's blood in him and was like, yeah, you're cool. And for those saying there's been no sexual tension between Jon and Dany, look at Daenerys' eyes. She wants him so bad. That's like the crazy cat lady whose cats hate everyone, but one day a guy comes over and her cats sit on his lap. She then practically has to marry him. That's fate. I love Daenerys calling her dragons beautiful and Jon saying that's not the word he'd use, and then seeing the look on her face, he realized he fucked up, and he was like, oh, yeah, no, they're gorgeous. Shit. Though we know they brought up her dragons basically being her children again because they want it to be even more devastating when a dragon dies next episode, and explains why Dany's in a very emotional place when Jon takes her to Pound Town for some sexual healing. I'm also glad that Dany brought up the knife to the heart thing. I would keep bringing that up too, like, hey, that was a pretty weird thing to say. I think she's going to see the scar during their sexy time, and maybe he'll explain it, or maybe she'll just realize, holy shit, he actually took a knife to the heart for his people, and it'll make their sexy time even more romantic. Because chicks dig scars? I don't think we have too much to fear with Dany going Mad Queen with Jon by her side, which is where this is going. Oh, and back on that sexual tension, did you see Jon's look when Jorah came back and Dany was all emotional, and then Jorah looking back at Jon? That was definitely some sizing each other up and what they meant to her. I think Jorah Bear is going to die without getting any, though. That's going to be super sad. Oh, and also super awkward that the man that cured her precious Jorah Bear is from the family that she just burned to a crisp. Oops. Even when they were talking about the White Hunt mission, Dany was all emotional about Jon going and dying, which is definitely going to end with her taking a dragon or 2 or 3 beyond the wall to help them, and then it's going to result in a dragon casualty. She's going to let her feelings for him and her fear for him take her away from her war with Cersei. Speaking of Cersei, I know some of you disagreed with me on this, but I do think she's legitimately pregnant and she's not lying about that. I know there's like a ton of people that think she's lying. I don't think she's lying. I think she actually is pregnant. Qyburn saying, hey, do you want me to give you something, was him asking, hey, I can have you miscarry if you want. And then that knowing smile he gave Jaime as he walked out was such a, ooh, you're gonna be a daddy. Yeah, she's manipulating him and will use their baby to do so, but I think she actually is pregnant. However, feel free to disagree. If she is pregnant, I do think she will miscarry or die before the child is born, for sure. She was understandably pissed about Jaime meeting with Tyrion because she expected Jaime to bring Tyrion to her, but come on. She knows Jaime still has a soft spot for Tyrion. And I am so glad that she believed Jaime about Olenna being the one to poison Joffrey. I really hope she realizes, or maybe just works it out in her head, that her accusing Tyrion caused Oberyn to become his champion, and then die, which caused Jaime to break Tyrion out of jail, which led to Tyrion to kill Tywin, and Oberyn dying because of her accusations also led to the Sand Snakes and Ellaria wanting revenge, and the death of Myrcella, which helped add to Tommen's mental instability and suicide. I really hope she understands her part in all this, but she's probably going to refuse to admit how much of a fuck-up she is. The sneaking into King's Landing was just so good. Davos was so sassy this episode, and I just couldn't get enough. And oh my god, that meta joke. I didn't know if you were still rowing. You magnificent bastards. My god, was that Warhammer so beautiful. Like father, like son, seeing him use it was even more awesome. The Jon Gendry scene was priceless in a few ways. First, fantastic that Gendry gave 0 fucks to Davos's advice. Two bastards whose fathers were great friends coming together. It's just something special. Though I liked when Gendry talked about how well their fathers got along, which is true, except for their bio dads. They did not get along well. Which is funny because Gendry's bio dad killed Jon's bio dad. I wonder if that'll ever come to either of theirs realization. But their first meeting was a lot like Ned and Robert seeing each other again in season 1. Now I'm really crossing my fingers for this not being a Rickon Osha thing and bringing back Gendry just to kill him beyond the wall next episode. Also, Davos's line, "Don't mind me, I've just lived to a ripe old age," was just hilarious. Jon is way younger than him and has already died once. Maybe listen to the old guy, people. He's made it a lot further than some of you had. So they get to Eastwatch, and finally we see Tormund again, who asks if Jon brought the big lady. Oh my god, I'm going to be so sad if Tormund dies without professing his love to Brienne. But now we have the Fellowship beyond the wall to go white hunting, and we know this ends poorly. No way everyone lives. At the very least, the red shirts behind them are going to bite it. I wouldn't be surprised if half the Fellowship bites it as well. This is not going to be an easy-peasy mission, and I think the Whites and others are closer to Eastwatch than Jon thought. But think about who is on their mission. Jon, res by a fire god. Beric, res by a fire god. Thoros, does fire god resing. Hound, burned by fire as a child. Jorah, cured of grayscale through dragonglass, which is made with fire. Gendry, a smith that works with fire. And Tormund, a beautiful ginger, kissed by fire. And they're going against ice magic. This is going to be epic. And then end in lots of death. Anyways, how crazy does all this have to be for Jon? Reunited with Sansa, Rickon dies in front of him, Bran is back, Arya's back. I can't wait for Arya and Jon to hug, but we probably won't see that this season. I'm sure Jon won't even be fazed by Bran's warging abilities, which, by the way, are amazing that he could control that many birds at once. His powers have or are growing so much. 1,000 eyes in one. Love that the Night King looked at him and was like, I see you. On the topic of Winterfell and shenanigans, I'm starting to think that the North really doesn't have very good memories, or maybe they just have periodic amnesia, something like that. I don't really fucking know. Maybe they only remember when it's convenient for them. Glover just talked to Jon. He just talked to Jon and said, hey, I'll regret to the day I die not standing beside you, and then literally, like, what is it? A few weeks later, he's like, well, fuck this shit, time to jump boat, fuck Jon, let's go to someone else. Like, where's Lord Manderley to go all crazy on their ass and do some epic speech? God damn. Though obviously Littlefinger is manipulating him, and it is predictable that Royce wants to stand behind Sansa. He's not a Northerner, why does he care about loyalty to Jon? I hate Littlefinger, but I am so glad he's back in the game, if not just for a little bit. It was such BS that this brilliant schemer was basically licking at Sansa's heels. The fact he's playing the sisters against each other to maintain control is fantastic. He knew Arya was spying on him and used the letter Sansa sent to Robb, saying bend the knee to Joffrey, would make Arya even more distant and mistrusting of Sansa, since Arya doesn't know Sansa was basically forced to write that letter. Though I don't think things are going to go as smoothly as Littlefinger thinks they will. In the end, the sisters will work together and kill Littlefinger. However, I do think the sisters are going to have some problems with each other, at least for a tiny bit. Arya can see to the heart of someone, and she knows Sansa wants power, which hurt Arya because she feels like Sansa would betray Jon for it. So I think their fighting is real, but it won't get as bad as Littlefinger wants it to be. Alright, let's move on to Sam and Gilly at the Citadel. Kind of a letdown, to be honest. I thought he'd do more there, but I get the Maesters are just dismissing him. Still a bummer that he had to leave. Especially since we know how much this meant to Sam. Being at the Citadel, becoming a Maester. He wanted to be a Maester since he was little, and he had to basically just walk away from that dream. At least he took books with him that have very important information in them. So lastly, let's talk about that very important information. That casual drop of Rhaegar and Ilya's annulment was just huge, and I love that we've all been speculating which character is gonna say it first on the show and let us show watchers know what's going on and if they were actually married. And then out of all the people it was, out of all the fucking people, it was Gilly. It was Gilly. I didn't think it was gonna be Gilly. Damn. And I love that pretty much no one else knows about Rhaegar's annulment because this Maester was so tedious and wrote down everything in this book, including his bowel movements, that no one wanted to read between all those things to get to the juicy bits. Ugh, when talking about shit and juicy bits, that just gave me a bad mental image. So I have some mixed thoughts on Rhaegar and an annulment. First, I really wish he would have just taken another wife, as Targaryens and some non-Targaryens have done before. An annulment feels like such an extra slap in the face. Ilya was still nursing his baby boy when he got that annulment. Holy hell, dude. Slow down. Of course, Ilya seemed behind Rhaegar with the prophecy, so maybe she was okay with it. She realized she couldn't give him any more legitimate heirs. But how awkward would that be for Ilya if she didn't agree to it? She was kept at King's Landing during Robert's Rebellion, and then Rhaegar came back to say goodbye, and then die. I really wish he would have stayed married to Ilya, but maybe he does in the books, maybe just in the show they didn't want to introduce polygamy because they thought it was just too much and they didn't want people to doubt that Jon was legitimate. What I love about this information is that Jon isn't a bastard, he's legitimate, which is so horrible that he was treated like he was a bastard his entire life, and it affected him to the point where he didn't even want a family because of the decisions of his biological parents. I think learning he isn't a bastard will have a huge mental change for him, but he'll always see Ned as a father. The other lovely thing about this is we have Dany going on and on about her right to sit on the Iron Throne. Well, now technically, Jon's claim is higher than hers. Her brother's legitimate son would always get the throne before her. When this information is released, probably next season, Dani is going to realize the position she's in, which means they're going to get married and John is going to be super wigged out. Alright, let's end on giveaways. Winner from last video, where I asked you to pick a song for John and Dani to make Sweet Sweet Love to, was K-On Music, who picked the song We Are Family. You sick bastard. Message me for your gift card. New giveaway for your chance to win a $15 gift card to Amazon, just like this video, and tell me who dies in the Beyond the Wall party next episode. I'll pick the winner and announce it next review video. Alright, so that's my review. Please like, subscribe, and come back for more videos.